In the last video with the Turbo V6 Accord, we got the Vibrant Performance Turbo Kit completely finished. The hot side's done, the turbo's mounted, the cold side's done, the intercooler's down there, the intake's right here. We even did things like plumb up the boost controller, the bullet valve, and the gauges on the inside. But there's one thing left to do, and that's building the rest of the exhaust, because right now it's open downpipe and it's way too loud for a daily driver, because that is still what this car is. And so these are the remaining parts we have from that Vibrant Performance palette. Things like their beautiful street mufflers, but then we have a lot of other stuff like resonators, stainless steel tubing, V-bands, exhaust hanger rods, flex pipes, and some nifty stuff like a cast Y collector. So let's fabricate a custom exhaust for a Turbo V6 Accord. And of course, a huge thanks to Vibrant Performance for making this build possible. We're gonna get started with their resonator, their flex pipe, and a V-band. All right, so we got the other side of the V-band right up there. We're gonna do a nice little flex pipe right away. Let me see something else actually. I think what we're gonna do is pretty much put the flex pipe right there, have it come up a little bit, go straight, and then put the resonator up here. So we got this section all tacked together. Before we do anything else with it, I want to go ahead and hang it so that we always know it's going to stay where we want it. So I'm going to make a little bracket coming off the subframe to mount a exhaust bushing, and then weld some hanger rods to the exhaust. So we got the first section of the exhaust done. It's just kind of this straight piece with the resonator and the flex pipe, and it's gonna go to a V-bend over there. That's where it'll split off into two separate tips. Now we will be adding the cutout right about there, but we don't have that yet, and unfortunately, kind of seems like it's not gonna be here in time for this video. So for now, what we're gonna do is gonna go and drop this exhaust and fully weld it up. So that took a while, but the exhaust is now fully welded up. So we can throw it back in the car and continue. Before we continue, actually, I kind of want to hear it like this. So now before we can start it and hear that exhaust in action, we gotta take care of this battery situation. Like I mentioned in the last video, battery used to be right where the turbo is. So obviously we have to relocate it. The obvious choice is the trunk, but I didn't want to do that because I want to keep this a daily. I want to maximize my trunk space. So what I did is I got a small motorsports battery that still works on a street car. This bad boy right here. It's got 500 cold cranking amps for 5 seconds, which is perfect. And this is gonna be mounted right in there. We're doing it on this side to try to kind of balance out the weight, because obviously the turbo and the driver is all on the driver's side. So let's build a mount for this thing. Thing's big. All right, so our thin mild steel test piece worked. Battery fit in there nicely, and even with the thin flimsy metal, it supported it, and it clears the bumper. So now we're gonna make it out of some thick aluminum. All right, so the aluminum battery mount is tacked together and I fit it up there and it fits great. Looks freaking awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and just fully weld it up, brace it up in some spots, and then I have something really exciting to show you guys. So the battery mount is done, very light because it's all aluminum, looks really great, and it's sturdy, and it fits barely, but perfectly. Now, the exciting thing is this. This is a complete powder coating setup from Eastwood. The one thing I've been missing in this shop for a long time, and I know you guys have suggested it, I know this thing existed, so I reached out to Eastwood, and they were happy to work together. They sent me out a bunch of powder coat in a lot of different colors, a powder coating gun, a benchtop booth, and a benchtop oven. Now, unfortunately, UPS decided to destroy the oven and nearly destroy this booth. That's kind of an L, UPS, and I literally just now discovered that, so we're not going to powder coat this. We were going to, but we're not going to. Thankfully, it's aluminum, it's not gonna rust or anything. We can do it later, but I wanted to at least show you guys. I'm very excited to use this. We'll be able to do a bunch of brackets, we'll be able to do valve covers, won't really be able to do anything huge, but the only thing stopping us from doing something big is building a bigger oven, so, you know, we'll see. I also got some other stuff from Eastwood I'm very excited to share. So, new sponsor on board. Things are going good here. Now, let's go ahead and install this battery and get it wired up. I think it sounds sick. Cold start's still loud as hell. All right, I'm gonna lift it up and kind of check for exhaust leaks. Totally silent. Hell yeah. So this is essentially what it's gonna sound like with the exhaust cutout open. I don't get why it sounds like it doesn't have a turbo on it. It sounds like it's a straight pipe to cord. You know, I feel like normally on turbo cars, turbo kind of gets rid of the raspiness and it makes it sound smoother, sound better. For some reason, it ain't doing it on this car. And by the way, this is a dual ball bearing turbo and it is a T51R mod. So, you know, this should be like the noisiest turbo in existence. I mean, let's go ahead and make the rest of this exhaust because it needs it. Maybe we won't do a cutout. Maybe it just sounds so shit that we shouldn't do a cutout anyway, you know? But first, let me thank this video's sponsor, Mudwater. Mudwater is a Healthy Habits brand best known for its popular coffee alternative. See, I am a fan of coffee, but I am the first to admit it has some drawbacks. It's loaded with caffeine, it gives you the jitters, and then later in the day, it gives you a crash, but not Mudwater. See, Mudwater's original blend has 4 functional mushrooms in it. Lion's mane for focus and to combat brain fog, cordyceps to promote natural energy, and both chaga and reishi to support a healthy immune system. Now there's 2 more ingredients that make Mudwater so awesome: chai and cacao. For one, this has just a little bit of caffeine, and secondly, it gives Mudwater its amazing flavor. To me, it kind of tastes like a dirty chai latte hot cocoa. Now, making Mudwater is one of my favorite parts, mostly because it's easy, but because you can also get creative with it. Mudwater gives you all sorts of recipes like iced mud, mud latte 2.0, spicy mud, mud shake, butter mud, and slightly sweet mud latte, but you can also make your own recipe. My favorite right now is a combination of the ice mud and the spicy mud. I get 6 ounces of hot water, add my Mudwater and some cayenne pepper, and froth it all up. I also add a little bit of Mudwater's creamer. I then pour all of that over ice and then add a little bit of oat milk. It's quite delicious, if I do say so myself. And I really enjoy making that when I get home from work because it's late enough in the day where I don't want to have a cup of coffee because the caffeine is going to keep me up all night. But I need a little bit of energy to stay motivated to edit and do other kind of work. And that is what Mudwater is so perfect for. So if you guys are interested, Mudwater is hooking you guys up with a special offer. If you go to mudwater.com/Gingium, you get 15% off and a free frother. Yet again, that is mudwater.com/Gingium for 15% off and a free frother. So it's gonna be pretty much the same as this old exhaust over here. Does a Y into 2.5 inch mufflers. Except now we've got Vibrant mufflers, which are all 1-piece tip and everything in one. So I'm gonna have to be a little bit more precise in getting these up here. So one of the things I didn't like about the old exhaust was that the muffler hung down too low. You could like see a gap between the top of the muffler and the side of the bumper at certain angles. So I'm gonna have the muffler kind of tucked up a little bit more like this. And then all we have to do is take this nifty cast stainless steel Y collector that Vibrant Performance makes, put it on 3-inch exhaust, add a 45 degree that points up a little bit, and then it's just straight in a 90, and it's the same for both sides. So the nice thing is that this is gonna be pretty symmetrical, which will be easier to make, kind of, in some ways. Y collector, 45, 90. And with that, this back section is fully welded up. So now we can go ahead and put this in the car. It's still pretty loud on the cold start. The engine sounds just as good as it did when it was stock. Like there's no leaks or anything up here. I love the way the exhaust turned out. It doesn't stick out like a sore thumb anymore. It's nice and hidden. It looks kind of stock almost. I think that more or less fixed it. It's no longer raspy, which is nice, and you can hear the turbo noise much more. I think that's also partially because I have the intake attached. Now, I want to drive it. Since this thing is currently stock ECU, stock tune, we can't drive it like this with the intercooler piping actually connected, because if it makes boost, it's gonna fuck something up. We do that, and we put this on right here. So now, it's essentially a naturally aspirated engine with a turbo strapped onto it. It should still make turbo noises, but none of that boost is actually going into the engine. Bro, look, I turbocharged my engine. It makes so much horsepower, bro. So sick, man. It's funny, you rev it, and it sounds almost like it did when it was naturally aspirated, because you can hear the intake, and we're gonna immediately test it with a speed bump. Nothing. All money. No, I could hit it faster. Yeah, I forgot about that part. Still need to fix that. Ear piercing right by the wall. Ooh, nothing there. There we go, look at that. Oh, you can definitely hear it. Now it doesn't sound quite right because there's no blow-off valve, because it's just an open hole right now. So, but you can definitely hear the. I actually do have to be careful because we could theoretically overspin the turbo pretty easily, because since it never will see boost, it will never open the wastegate. But I mean, just going up the hill. Sounds like a fighter jet. That's that T51R mod. And in terms of exhaust, it sounds very similar to what it did. Yeah. Which is good. I liked the way it sounded. It was quiet, it was tame. We're doing it. I wonder, actually, I'm gonna close the windows and see if we can still hear it with the windows closed. That's gonna be an important thing. I better be able to hear my turbo.
Yeah.
Definitely can still hear it.
Still very well too.
Yeah. It does kind of sound like a diesel truck in the
I was thinking
in that way, which is kind of the point. It's funny, like it drives like it's not there. Like it totally drives like it used to. That's because for all intents and purposes, it just has a different exhaust on it. It is the exact same. However, it does have a check engine light because we're missing O2 sensors and an EGR valve, but that doesn't actually affect anything. Probably would affect fuel economy, but. Now imagine once we're actually building boost, and then you hear the wastegate open, it's gonna sound sick. All right, I'm gonna get some sound clips for you guys. So technically, that test drive was a success. However, I think we are starting to notice a trend. When it first started happening, I thought it was just, you know, burning off some residual smoke from the fabrication or something like that. But now, this thing is smoking bad. I mean, we were leaving full-on smoke trails down the street. And it didn't do this before the turbo install. So there's two possible problems. First and foremost, maybe something's wrong with the turbo. Either actually physically wrong with the turbo or the drain. I'm thinking the drain's probably most likely the issue. But then the second possibility is that the engine is causing the smoke. Because the smoke really only happens on D-cell when the engine's pulling a lot of vacuum, which means it could be the valve seals. The reason why it didn't smoke before is because it had a full emission system, catalytic converters, all that. And I'm pretty sure that would clean out most of the exhaust. So we're gonna pull three things. We're gonna pull a spark plug, the up pipe, and the down pipe. If the spark plug and the up pipe have oil in them, well then it's the engine, because that's before the turbo. If those don't have oil in them, but the down pipe has oil in it, then it's the turbo. And then we can hopefully fix our issue. Okay, that one's fine. That one's fine. And also looks fine. Okay, so all those spark plugs are good. I'm gonna pull the back ones. We're gonna gap them down anyway, because we need to do that. I mean, this looks like a normal exhaust to me. Doesn't smell special, doesn't look special. Let's see what's in here, eh? So the turbine of the turbo and the downpipe look cleaner than the up pipe, so not great news. However, I am gonna go ahead and just try to get the oil drain a little bit better. So this is the oil drain. As you can see, it comes down from the turbo and it's just kind of stalls here and even goes up a little bit right here. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna reroute it above this coolant line, hopefully have it come down, and I'm probably gonna have to shorten it a tad. Ooh. Oh man. Yeah, that was a lot of oil stuck in the oil drain. Hopefully that's it. Hopefully that's it. No, I knew that was gonna happen. Fuck. So now it goes above the coolant line and goes down into the engine. I also have some heat wrap and I managed to make it so it's not touching the up pipe. This is much better. Much, much better. Fingers crossed. Let's test it. The idle should be a little bit more stumblier because the spark plug gap is less, but besides that, it should be the same. It's interesting, the cold start's lean. I don't know if that's normal for cars. I feel like it should be the opposite. All right, we're gonna let it warm up and then do some revs. See what happens. I'm not seeing really any smoke. Oh, maybe a little bit. Let's try it. Let's try it. Driving it, we'll figure it out. Out of the frying pan and into the fire. I'm looking behind me and I see nothing. And it was bad before. Do a little downshift. Nothing. Now, time will tell because maybe this drain still isn't quite good and it just, you know, hasn't filled up with oil yet, but fingers crossed. All right, so I've got a good idea. I'm gonna go ahead and throw this bad boy on here. And now we can hit 2 birds with 1 stone. Because we're gonna take this bike on a mini road trip in this. If you haven't been a fan of the previous bike parts, give this a chance, because instead of going down a trail, we're taking this thing to a local downhill park. I'm talking jumps, gnarly rock chutes, berms, and lots of other fun stuff. No pedaling. This is the second bike that bikesonline.com sent me. This is a Polygon Colossus N7. It is the complete opposite of the other bike. This thing is heavy. It's long, it's got really aggressive tread, and it's got a crap ton of suspension, 170 millimeters of suspension travel. This is an enduro bike. It's essentially like a rally car. Pretty much as serious of a mountain bike as you can get. I mean, look at the linkage. It's got an external reservoir in the rear shock. This thing is awesome, but I don't get to ride it that much because it's not that fun on normal trails. It's too much bike for that. And so, road trip to see if the car's broken, and biking. The car got here successfully, besides a few smells, but you know, that's pretty normal. Let's see how this thing goes. Oh, this big beast of a bike. All right, so this is the dirt jump line here. Pretty big jumps. Really fun and really smooth though. Oh, I love it so much. See, this is way more fun than trail riding, but it's far. 2-hour drive, one way. It's free though. I have the jumps down, but no tricks yet. Nothing besides like the turning the handlebars. I can't do a whip. I've been practicing, but it's so scary because like you gotta go off big old jumps to learn, and if you mess up while learning, you get messed up. Oh, and then we'll jump to the camera. All right, let's try some other stuff around here. There's a lot of trails. So those were the dirt jumps, and now we're doing slalom, which goes right there. We'll hit the expert stuff later. Yeah, you have to go fast to clear those. Speaking of clearing, oh fuck, hit my ass. Whew. Okay. I'm gonna try that again. Ooh. Gotta really push down. Almost. Not quite though. Ooh. Go all the way down, eh? Oh, very fun. That one's fun. They're all fun. This part, going all the way back up, not so fun. This is the one expert jump line that I am too scared to hit, but I really wanna. This one, I'm not ever gonna be able to do. Well, this one I feel like I could do. It just requires so much commitment because they're all gaps. So if you don't go fast enough. So you have to just rip. Well, he cleared that no problem. Maybe I should try it. Well, I think the booter. This thing is so good over these bumps. It's insane. And, ooh, see, I'm bad at berms. Oh, that one is fun, but oh, the berms that get me. I think you just need more commitment on berms. On this, on that. Cleaning that rock's always sketchy. Oh, that one almost knocked me off. Oh. This park, there's probably about 80% e-bikes here. God damn, I'm jealous. They go ripping down just as fast, and then they just rip right back up. Yeah, so just as I was thinking about doing this expert jump line, somebody fell and got injured. So I'm gonna pass for today. I'm by myself with no gear. I'll come back with gear and with other people. I'll find someone who can lead me into it. Actually, I think Adam can. Oh, I want to try it now, damn it. Tell you what, we'll hit this and then we'll go try it. Just so smooth when you do it, right? All right, we're just gonna roll through this here, okay? I got this big boom. Like, look at this shit. That thing's huge. He's also huge. Also huge. I almost cleared that one. Really almost did. That first one was almost the most intimidating. Oh, Mr. M7, I'm about to probably case you a few times here. we're gonna give it a little more of a shot. Oh, fuck yeah. See, you gotta hit that. I was so close to dying there. Because you're coming up to it and you're like, oh shit, that shit's scary. Ah. Yeah. Just need more confidence. That ain't happening right now. I tried it. That was as close as I've come to just boosh. Didn't even bottom it out though. Look at that. See, if I would have been on my other bike, I would have been dead. My issue was I didn't pop because I was scared of it. When you don't pop, then as soon as your front tire goes over the lip, it just, the back, poop. And then I went nose heavy into it. Gonna hit this to regain some confidence. Because I would argue these are just as big, if not bigger than those jumps. But I can just hit them easily. It is so much fun. And I know if I could do that on that other one, I'd be so happy. Scariest thing I've ever hit was, oh, I don't remember what it's called, but it's the big drop in Bentonville. And actually, the marketing guy from Bikes Online, that's how we met, that's how we are here. He led me off it. It was super terrifying, but it was actually super smooth. You just have to go in it with confidence. All right, let's do some techie stuff, eh? That one's so fun. So that one's fun because you don't have to hit it with fucking unrealistic speed at the first time. You can work your way up. Oh yeah, I got that. Sucks, that one's so short because it's so steep. It's so much fun, but the effort to get back to the top blows. What about this rock drop, eh? It's kind of fun. Ooh. Landed pretty front heavy there too. It's really crazy how much mountain biking is a confidence sport. Like if I would have hit that faster, I wouldn't have gone as front heavy and I would have landed much smoother. I have to pull off. Oh, fuck. That's gonna suck. Now I feel like I have to hit it again. Maybe Friday at 5 p.m. is a bit too busy to go to this place. But here's one cool thing. 1 year ago is when I started mountain biking. Last October, October 2023, was the first time I had ridden a mountain bike as an adult. Yeah, as an adult, like, since forever. And now I feel like I'm okay. Now this thing's done though, I can go farther. Because coming here in the Miata sucked. That's for sure. And so guys, that is it for this video. This thing is running and driving great. It feels like a daily driver, and it's got a turbo, it's got a full exhaust. We didn't end up doing the cutout because I don't think it sounds good with only the resonator. In fact, I still might add a resonator to this current setup, which is fine because it's nice and quiet. And then when I want it to be loud, it's got an external wastegate. So we're gonna be able to rip on it and do all sorts of fun stuff. The next step is to tune this thing. So we gotta fix the dyno, put the injectors in it. Now I can't promise that's gonna be the next video, but the next time you see this car, that's gonna be the video. And so huge thank you yet again to Vibrant Performance, P2R, Pulsar Turbo, and bikesonline.com. If you're interested in any of that stuff, check out the description or the cards. Support the companies that support the channel. It really means a lot. And if you want to support the channel extra, you can check out Patreon. I'll see you in the next one. 400 wheel horsepower. I think that's what we're shooting for.